Samsung One UI 8.5. Gesture navigation versus button navigation. Imagine a world where your new smartphone knows exactly how you like to navigate through apps and settings without you having to lift a finger. Samsung is on the brink of making this a reality with its upcoming One UI 8.5 update. Traditionally, Samsung's Galaxy devices have welcomed new users with the familiar three-button navigation setup. However, a shift is on the horizon, and it's one that could redefine your first interaction with your next Galaxy device. In the early stages of One UI 8, a keen-eyed observer from Sammy Guru, Gerwin van Giesen, noticed the potentially groundbreaking feature, a choice between gesture-based and button-based navigation right from the start. This isn't just a minor tweak, it's a fundamental shift in user interface philosophy. But here's where it gets controversial. What does this mean for users accustomed to the old ways? Currently, devices like the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Flip 7 default to the traditional button layout, requiring users to delve into settings to embrace gestures. If Samsung rolls out this feature widely with One UI 8.5, it will be the first time the tech giant encourages users to choose their preferred navigation method as soon as they power on their device. This change isn't about removing options. It's about enhancing user choice. You can still revert to buttons if that's your comfort zone, but introducing gestures as a default option might encourage more users to try this modern approach. Why does this matter? Most people stick with the default settings, often because they're not aware of the alternatives, or they prefer the path of least resistance. Introducing gestures, by default, could lead to a more intuitive and immersive experience, aligning Samsung more closely with Google's Android 16, which champions smoother transitions and fuller screen interactions. Yet, as we look ahead, the real test will be how users react to these changes. Will the shifts to gestures be seen as a step forward, or a complication? This setting isn't live yet, and it hasn't been spotted on the latest flagships, so there's a chance we might see it debut with the Galaxy S26 series. If you're eyeing a new Galaxy S26 Pro, Edge, or Ultra, consider signing up for our Mystery Box program to snag some cool freebies with your pre-order next January. And this is the part most people miss. The introduction of such features isn't just about technology. It's about shaping how we interact with our devices on a daily basis. What do you think? Is Samsung making the right move by potentially changing the default navigation, or should they stick to the tried and true? Let's discuss in the comments below. Samsung One UI 8.5. Choose swipe gestures or three-button navigation on setup. Imagine finally having the freedom to choose your preferred navigation style right from the start. Samsung might just be on the brink of a game-changing update that could align it with other Android OEMs in terms of navigation options. Joe Hindi, Android Authority. Too long didn't read. Samsung is considering allowing users to select swipe navigation as the default during the initial setup of a new phone. The company is currently testing a choice screen that lets users pick between the traditional three-button navigation and the modern swipe navigation gestures. This feature is still in the testing phase and might debut with One UI 8.5 on the upcoming Galaxy S26. Samsung, a trailblazer in mobile innovation, has often been hesitant to embrace changes pushed by external forces, including Google. For instance, it took them a while to adopt seamless updates. https://www.androidauthority.com/Samsung Galaxy S25 seamless updates 3529718 on their Android devices, despite the time-saving benefits for users. Thankfully, they made this shift last year. https://www.androidauthority.com/Galaxy phones no seamless updates 3545145. And now, they seem ready to let go of another long-standing feature, the three-button navigation system. While Google and other Android manufacturers have already hopped on the swipe navigation bandwagon, Samsung has stubbornly stuck to the three-button system as the default for new phone setups. Users who prefer gesture-based navigation have had to manually switch it on from the settings menu after completing the initial setup. But here's when it gets interesting. With the upcoming versions of One UI 8, Samsung might finally give users the option to choose between the three-button and gesture-based navigation right during exploring One UI 8.5, new features and updates for Samsung phones. Samsung is set to introduce a groundbreaking navigation feature for its One UI 8.5, which could revolutionize smartphone interactions. This update, currently in preview, promises a more intuitive way to access apps and settings, offering users a seamless experience across devices. However, this innovation comes with caveats, as it may not yet be fully functional globally. Meanwhile, the One UI 8.0 beta has sparked controversy over a critical scaling bug that has affected users, causing their phones to behave like tablets. For those who rely on the Galaxy S25 Ultra, this issue could delay the stable release of the software. Additionally, the Galaxy Watch 7 remains awaiting an official One UI 8 watch update, raising questions about its compatibility with the latest OS. A recent beta update introduced a problematic S Pen feature, disrupting core functionalities like Air Command, which could further complicate the user experience. As Samsung continues to refine its software, the balance between innovation and stability becomes increasingly vital for users seeking the best of both worlds.